So what if an ancient prayer wasn't just about faith, but was actually about physics? Well, in this explainer, we're diving deep into the book Super Science of Gayatri by Pundit Shri Ram Sharma Acharya. It's a fascinating read that presents a sacred mantra as a kind of powerful, spiritual technology. Let's get into the science behind the sound.
Right off the bat, the book makes a pretty bold claim. We're told that this isn't about blind faith. No, it's a journey towards what the author calls supreme knowledge. Honestly, that one idea is the key that unlocks everything else we're about to explore.
So what is the Gayatri Mantra, really, at its core? Well, according to this book, it's way more than just a chant. It's the primordial word. Think of it like the original source code from which all sacred knowledge is said to have sprung.
The book even gives it this incredibly profound title, Vedmata, which means Mother of the Vedas. And that's not just some poetic nickname. The argument here is that the Gayatri Mantra is the literal source, the wellspring of the four Vedas, which are the foundational scriptures of Hinduism.
Now, this supreme knowledge isn't some vague, abstract idea. The book actually breaks it down into a complete system for living. You have Rig for spiritual well-being, Yaju for valor and getting things done, Sam for enjoyment and the arts, and Atharva for material prosperity. I mean, it literally covers the whole human experience.
And this is just a brilliant way to picture it. The book uses this analogy of a giant banyan tree. It says to think of the mantra as 24 letters as these tiny little seeds. And from those seeds, this entire massive tree of Vedic knowledge just sprouted into existence with all of its branches and leaves.
Okay, so if Gayatri is the source, how does it actually work? This is where we get to the book's most provocative claim. Its power isn't magic. It's physics. It's a science of sound. So here's the core mechanism as the book lays it out. It literally maps each of the mantra's 24 letters to 24 specific energy centers inside the human body. These are called granthis. The idea is pretty simple, actually. When you chant a specific syllable, its unique vibration is said to activate its matching energy gland. It's a one-to-one connection.
Let's make this a little more concrete so you can see what I mean. The book has this entire chart mapping everything out. For instance, the syllable tat is said to switch on the tapini gland, which is linked to success. Sa awakens sapalta for bravery. Bar stimulates your defense mechanisms. And D connects to your very life breath, or pran. The entire mantra is basically a detailed instruction manual for awakening your inner potential.
Now, if that sounds a little out there, the book tries to ground the theory by pointing to other examples of sound's incredible power. You know, you have ancient stories of a specific musical tune, the Deepak Rag, lighting lamps. Or the very real physics of how rhythmic marching can actually make a bridge collapse. The point is clear. Sound is a physical force, and the Gayatri Mantra is presented as the ultimate, most refined application of that force. Okay, so we've looked at what it is and how it's supposed to work, but the biggest question is, why do it? What's the point? The book gives a really powerful answer. It says this practice can directly tackle the 3 root causes of all human suffering. All right, the first root cause, according to the text, is ignorance. But we're not talking about a lack of facts from a textbook. This is about a twisted outlook on life. Things like selfishness, ego, and greed that just creates misery. The practice is said to invoke the power of HREM, which is associated with divine wisdom, to fix that.
The second cause of suffering is called infirmity. And this is a big one, covering all kinds of weakness, whether it's physical, mental, or spiritual. The antidote for that? The mantra is said to call upon Kleem, which is the energy of divine strength and vitality.
And the final root cause, lack. This covers everything from material scarcity to feelings of inadequacy, that nagging sense of just not having enough. The corresponding blessing here is Shrim, the divine power of abundance and prosperity, both in a worldly and spiritual sense.
So, who is this practice actually for? The book gets into who its followers are, and it wades right into a major historical debate about who even has the right to access this knowledge in the first place. First off, the book makes it very clear that this isn't just some ancient history. The mantra's influence is woven deep into modern India. It was championed by incredible figures like Mahatma Gandhi, the spiritual giant Swami Vivekananda, and even India's second president, Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan.
The book also confronts a really difficult part of its history head-on, the exclusion of women. It flat-out labels this a medieval misconception and argues that the original Vedic ideal was always about total inclusivity for everyone. It even points to evidence, like numerous female sages or rishis in the scriptures, and highlights a 1946 scholarly decision that officially reaffirmed this universal right.
So after walking us through the science and the history, the book brings us right back full circle, back to the mantra's true purpose at its very heart, a universal prayer for wisdom.
So what is the prayer itself? What does it say? Well, this is the direct translation from the book, and I want you to notice what it's asking for. It's not asking for wealth or for health or even for success. The one ultimate request is for an enlightened intellect, the kind of clear wisdom that can guide us down the right path in life.
And that really leaves us with this final thought. The core message of Super Science of Gayatri is a challenge for us to think about a different kind of prayer. Not one where we ask for specific things to happen, but one where we ask for the most powerful tool of all, the wisdom to navigate our lives, no matter what comes our way.